All right, welcome to the White Chocolate and Caramel Small Business Show. I'm White Chocolate.
Oh, I thought there was a shared moniker there. You were white and I was chocolate, but you're both white.
Well, I'm White Chocolate.
You're white chocolate.
And you're the caramel.
Okay, I get it now.
Uh-huh. 3 mistakes that small businesses make. Before we talk about that, I own a small business, website, marketing, branding, consulting, that kind of stuff. Super small, meaning it's really just me. And I have some contractors that I work with who are specialized coders, marketers. You've worked with me on some projects. So that's kind of like my background and why I'm here, like I should be talking. So why don't you just give like a quick little background for you?
Okay. I currently own a consultancy, or have a little consultancy that spends a lot of time working with small businesses, helping them to kind of figure out strategies and tactics and actions that drive their business forward.
Yeah.
Move it to the next level, if you will.
Yeah.
By way of background, 30 years in the corporate side of the aisle with PepsiCo and Quaker. A number of roles from sales to marketing to strategy to finance to anything you could think of. That customer marketing.
Yeah.
And figured that was a really good rounding of roles, such that I could say that I was as qualified as the next person, perhaps more.
Yeah.
To offer that kind of insight.
Absolutely. So in working with small businesses, that's a primary who I work with, primarily who you work with. We kind of keep running into these same, I guess we'll call them mistakes, but it could just be challenges that opportunities that small businesses kind of keep hitting. So we have 3 main things we want to just talk about today, which is, number 1 is a culture, some sort of culture within the company. How do you do business? What do we value? Number 2 are strategy and tactics. And then number 3 is, to me, one of the biggest pieces is marketing. To me, that's one of the biggest things that small businesses jump out and don't think about marketing. They just think about running the business.
Right.
So let's start with this first one, which is culture. So if you're not intentionally creating the culture, then a culture is being created without you kind of knowing.
Absolutely. It's going to happen one way or the other.
Right. So what do we mean when we say creating a culture?
Culture to me is a combination of establishing your identity, your internal identity, but also your identity as it relates to your customers or your consumer base.
Yeah, the relationship, right?
The relationship.
Yeah.
So it starts with values and core principles. What are you about? What will you not accept? What will you accept? What are you trying to exude within the workplace? How you want to treat your employees? You've seen a lot of stuff in the news lately, Uber and whatnot, in terms of how they treat some of their internal employees. My guess is that they didn't spend a lot of time on that aspect of culture.
Right.
They may have had culture in other areas, but to me, so culture is just 360.
Right. So how do you create a culture?
It's not easy. It's not a layup. It's, first of all, starts with the leader. What do you want to be?
Right.
And my recommendation is that it's best it starts with the leader, but it also involves a couple of your stakeholders.
This is not just a employee manual. Do you do X, Y, and Z? This is deeper than that.
It's a lot deeper than that.
Yeah. So what I usually do is I recommend people do what I call brand brief.
Okay.
Which is kind of helps you to address external, but it also really helps you to identify internally. What do you value? So if you value, for instance, I did this with a friend of mine. He's a realtor. He's doing great. And what we did early on with him was we went through this brand brief. And what we identified was we got a mantra out of this brief, which was the hardest working real estate team. And so in that mantra, it informs a lot about the culture of what it's going to be like being there. So they're real estate agents, right? A lot of real estate agents are part-timers. They do it because, hey, they can just make a couple quick thousands and then they can sit by the pool. Well, if you're that kind of agent, don't come work for us.
Right.
Because we're the hardest working real estate team.
Right.
You're going to be cold calling. You're going to be knocking on doors. And if you're not doing that, then you're going to be doing something because we're the hardest working team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so whether it's a brand brief, whatever the mechanism, it's you sit down and you do the work of defining what are we going to be about.
Do you do that if your business is open and you're already trucking along? Is it too late?
No, absolutely not. There are folks out there that specialize in that.
Right.
We can do that as well. You, as in your businesses, can do that as well. It's just at this day and time, stopping, making that assessment, and committing it to paper. But the committing it to paper part is only the first part of that.
Right.
Because then from that point forward, every interview that you have, every new person that you are seeking to employ, you share with them, this is what we're all about.
Right.
And you hire against those core values.
That's one of the biggest. That's one of the biggest problems I think in the marketplace is poor hiring, right? It's people being misemployed. Your talents and your creativity best suits you for this position, but you're playing the role here, and it's like you got everyone on the bus, but the wrong people are in the wrong seats.
Exactly. Right? Well, and that goes beyond culture, but all of it starts with you're not hiring basis the sets of principles and objectives and expectations that you have defined this role to be.
Right.
Now, some haven't defined that role. So a lot of this also requires work. What do you want out of your sales rep? What do you want out of your marketing person? What do you want out of your finance director? What do you want there? And be specific in terms of your roles along with your culture.